Listening Library presents Disney Animals Storybook Collection by Disney Book Group. Read for you by Erin, Bennett.
Moana, Pua and Heihei. The feast to welcome spring was about to start. Moana and Grandma Tala were busy collecting shells. Moana's pet pig, Pua, tried to help, but the shells he found were never empty. Moana bent down and picked up a small pink one. "What do you think?" she asked. Grandma Tala inspected it. "Yes, that looks right for a chief." Moana was making her father a surprise gift for the feast, an anklet. Moana strung the shell onto the anklet and held it up proudly. "Done," she said. "Now I can give it to him right at the start of the feast." Just then, Heihei, the foolish village rooster, ran by them wearing part of a coconut on his head. "Silly Heihei," Moana said, removing the coconut. In the village, preparations for the feast had begun. While everyone was hard at work, Heihei just got in the way. Men were busy building the umu, an underground oven. They piled up pieces of wood and the dried husks and shells of coconuts. After they started the fire, they added rocks. Heihei kept getting closer and closer to the hot rocks. "You'll set yourself on fire, you silly bird," one of the men yelled, chasing him away. Heihei ran away and stepped on a partially finished platter woven from pandan leaves. His tiny foot got trapped, but he didn't even notice as he dragged the large platter behind him. Grandma Tala attempted to catch him, but Heihei avoided her, leaving a mess in his wake. Moana and Grandma Tala stopped when they saw Chief Tui approaching. Grandma Tala immediately stepped on Heihei's platter to hold it and the rooster in place. Moana quickly hid the anklet inside her belt, hoping her father wouldn't notice. "I just wanted to see how everything was going," Chief Tui said. Meanwhile, Heihei was pecking and pulling at Grandma Tala's skirt. As soon as Chief Tui left, Grandma Tala reached for Heihei, but she slipped on the platter. Fortunately, Moana was there to catch her. Nobody noticed when the anklet dropped from Moana's belt. It landed around Heihei's neck, and he dashed away. "That is it," Grandma Tala said, grabbing a hand-woven leaf basket. Heihei didn't see her coming. He was too busy pecking at a rock. In one fell swoop, Grandma Tala trapped Heihei underneath the basket and then cinched it shut. But Grandma Tala had been so focused on catching the rooster that she hadn't noticed the anklet around his neck. "You can't keep him in there forever, Grandma," said Moana. "But we can keep him in there for a little while," said Grandma Tala. "At least until we're done with the feast." Moana agreed it was a good idea, so Grandma Tala put the basket aside. Then Moana checked her belt. She gasped when she realized the anklet was missing. "Oh no! Perhaps we should retrace our steps," said Grandma Tala. Just then, Pua spotted the basket. He saw Heihei's beak sticking out between the gaps in the woven leaves. When he looked closer, Pua noticed the anklet around the rooster's neck. He was determined to retrieve it for Moana. But first, Pua had to open the basket. He rolled it over and over, but that didn't work. The basket was just too strong. Then he tossed a coconut high into the air toward the basket, but all that did was knock the basket over. Next, Pua put the basket on top of a stick. Then he backed up and took a running start. Pua jumped onto the stick, and the basket went flying through the air. Plop! It fell to the ground. But the basket was still tightly shut. Pua had to think of another idea, and fast. He had to get the anklet to Moana in time for the feast. On the ground, he saw a long vine. He picked it up and trotted back to the basket. Pua looped the vine around the basket and dragged it along, running as fast as he could. Heihei's legs slipped out, and he ran to keep up. When Pua heard music, he knew the feast was about to begin. He had to do something drastic. He dragged the basket toward a slender tree and tossed it onto a branch. Then he jumped up after it. When Pua bounced on the branch, Heihei's basket flew into the air and then back down to the branch again. The higher Pua bounced, the higher the basket flew. Finally, Pua bounced so high that the branch flung the basket straight into him. The two animals soared through the air. Pua and Heihei squealed and clucked. When they hit the ground, the basket finally opened. Pua was thrilled. He could get the anklet to Moana. But the force of the fall caused them to roll, and roll, and roll, right into a large fishing net. Though the feast had started, Pua and Heihei rolled right up to Moana. Moana untangled them and gasped when she saw the anklet around Pua's snout. "You found it," she said, giving him a big hug. Later that evening, Moana gave Chief Tui the anklet, and he proudly put it on. "I love it," he said. As Moana and her father hugged, Pua heard a strange sound. It was Heihei. The rooster couldn't cluck because his beak was buried in a piece of driftwood. He'd also gotten tangled up in pieces of the basket again. Fortunately, Pua had become an expert at getting Heihei out of tricky situations. The Aristocats. The Surprise Party. Early one morning, Thomas O'Malley yawned, stretched, and found 3 little kittens jumping on his bed. Marie, Berlioz, and Toulouse began to sing cheerily, while Duchess presented O'Malley with a dish of cream. "Happy birthday!" the cats sang out. "Happy birthday to you, dear Abraham de Lacy Giuseppe Casey Thomas O'Malley!" "Now, children," Duchess began, "who wants to give Thomas his birthday present first?" I do, Toulouse replied. "Follow me, Mr. O'Malley." "Yeah," said Berlioz, "follow him." As soon as O'Malley's back was turned, Duchess whispered to Berlioz and Marie, "Come, children, let's get on with our plans for Thomas's surprise party." Toulouse led O'Malley into the sunroom. "This is where I do my greatest work," Toulouse announced. "And today I'm gonna paint your portrait. Face this way, please, and don't move." Squish, splurt, splat. Toulouse began squirting paint from various tubes. O'Malley was so busy watching Toulouse that he didn't see what was happening behind him. A little while later, Toulouse finished his painting and presented it proudly to O'Malley. "That's real swell, Toulouse," O'Malley said. "I don't suppose you could teach me how to do that." "Sure," Toulouse replied. "I can teach ya." He smothered a smile. The birthday surprise plans were right on track. Toulouse showed O'Malley how to mix paints to get different colors. Then they outlined a picture. Finally, they painted and painted and painted. "I never had such birthday fun in my life," O'Malley said when they were finished. "I can't wait to show this to Scat Cat and the band when we jam." Just then, Marie and Berlioz walked into the room. Our turn, Marie said to O'Malley, climbing to her spot atop the piano. "Would you like to hear some scales and arpeggios?" "We planned a special birthday song just for you," Berlioz said. "Want to hear it?" "Well, sure I do," O'Malley said. Berlioz cracked his toes while Marie moved to the other side of the piano and sat up straight. She made sure O'Malley was looking at her, not outside, where the others were setting up his surprise party. "Okay," Berlioz said at last. "Are you ready?" "Ready," O'Malley replied. Berlioz stretched along the keyboard and played their new song while Marie sang. O'Malley was loving the tempo and couldn't believe they had written him his very own tune. "You can join us if you want to, Mr. O'Malley," Marie urged. Soon O'Malley was singing along. "Thank you for the best birthday song I've ever heard." As early evening approached, Duchess intercepted O'Malley. "Do you want to go for a birthday stroll?" she asked. "Well, sure," O'Malley said. "That old band can wait. There's nothing I'd rather do than go on a birthday walk, stroll, with you." When they reached the end of the garden, Duchess pulled a wrapped gift from behind a rosebush. Happy birthday, dear Thomas, she said, presenting it to him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?